Hello, this is meteorologist Max. I am here with your winter forecast update for the 2012-2013 winter season. We're going to get right into the main factors that will be affecting this winter's forecast. Three big players are the NAO, the AO, and ENSO, which is the North Atlantic Oscillation, the Arctic Oscillation, and ENSO is essentially the Pacific Southern Oscillation, which is either in La Nina or El Nino. El Nino being the positive form and La Nina being the negative form. First, we're going to look at the NAO, which is going to be likely negative this year. The AO is also likely to be negative, and ENSO appears to have weakened to approximately neutral conditions, which probably means this won't be a huge factor in this year's winter. So, what does negative NAO and AO mean? Well, it'll probably have a big effect on winter this year. We'll see troughing developing in the eastern half of the country, which allows the cold to plunge to the south and will send storms up the coast, which means more snow for the eastern U.S. The neutral ENSO conditions will probably make the western forecast a little more uncertain and nearer to average, but will probably be leaning to the dry side out west. Now we're going to look at the science of NAO. You can see here, big trough in the eastern half of the United States. This is allowing that cold Arctic cold Arctic air to plunge south, allowing that cold to aid with the moisture which will be coming up the coast due to that trough. And so in the end, we're going to get a lot of snow right along the eastern seaboard. And when you have a trough like this and you have a high, also going to be taking in a good amount of lake effect snow over those lakes, and you'll have a blocking Greenland high, which will allow for a lot of moisture. Certain patterns that you see with an NAO, more recently they had a nor'easter that occurred during a negative NAO that dumped quite a bit of snow in parts of Connecticut and New York, and even where I live in Maine. And also, before that, Hurricane Sandy occurred during a negative NAO, which allowed it to really come up the coast. And because the high was more situated over here, you got this really extreme troughing pattern that went kind of like this, which allowed that storm to take that western turn. Okay, so essentially that'll mean more snow for the East Coast. Now we're going to look at the temperature anomalies. It's probably going to be pretty near average for most of the U.S., but we'll see slightly warmer than normal conditions in the Northwest and Plain states, and cooler conditions and well below cooler conditions in Florida, and certainly wetter in those areas too. When we look at the precipitation anomalies, again, snowy in the northeast due to a likely negative NAO and AO, and wet in the south due to those neutral conditions, which usually correlate with a cool, wet winter in the south. We're probably going to be looking at slightly below average snowfall and precipitation in the Northwest and Plain states, which is not good for the worsening drought in those areas. But certainly if you don't like snow, it probably won't be harsh a year as some years, and it could be more like last year for some in the Midwest. But as we'll only have slightly below average snowfall, it'll probably be a little bit more snow than we had last year. That's all for this winter forecast update. We'll have another one in December. Thanks for watching.